Did you know that Deadlock has visual novels? If you've been around the block within this community, I'm sure you've heard people talk about them. But have you actually sat down and watched or listened to them as I have?
Ah, yes. My favorite show.
Well, don't fear, friends, because today I'll be covering the visual novels available to us, the stories they tell, and the heroes they center around. One of the reasons why you may not be familiar with them is because these novels have been data mined straight from the game and never officially released. They sit comfortably within unfinished files, but sit in comfort no more, little files, for I am here to dissect you. Now, the state these visual novels are in is incomplete. One out of these three is more polished than the others. For the remaining two, we lack a visual standpoint. Their stories play more like auditorial novels rather than fully visual ones. Still, each novel gives us a rare peek behind the curtain. They show us pieces of these heroes' backstories, their demeanors, and their individual struggles, and in doing so, they add appeal to their uniqueness within Deadlock's cast of characters. I have such a soft spot for games that utilize different forms of media to bring their characters to life, including Overwatch with their comics, novels, and cinematics, Valorant with their trailers, cinematics, and music videos, and League of Legends with their novels, and of course, the adaptation of Arcane. It's these kinds of creative avenues that really breathe life into the world, making it richer. And the fact that we already have something like this in Deadlock is super exciting, because it means we get to delve deeper into the world that's being built and the heroes who inhabit it. These visual novels also have multiple parts, functioning like a pick-your-own-path story, much like conventional visual novel storytelling. So sit back and relax as I recount the tales within Deadlock's unfinished 3 visual novels, some more auditorial, centered on Ivy, Lady Geist, and Holliday, respectively. Ivy's novel is one of the auditorial ones, unfortunately. Regardless, the voice lines give just enough of a window into her character. Like the others, this novel has different paths you can choose, and as of now, we don't have the visual aspect, so I pieced together what I could from the auditory portions available. Main pieces of information I will be discussing are pulled from the files, but I will also tie in tidbits of lore and in-game dialogue. Nothing in this game is quite set in stone, and things have changed a lot since the first novel, featuring Lady Geist, was data mined over a year ago. With this in mind, let's begin with the savior of Spanish Harlem. Since I'm offering a summarization of these novels, there will be spoilers, or at least as much as I can get for unfinished novels. The novel begins with Ivy talking to a job recruiter.
Miss Ivy,
Just Ivy's fine.
what type of work are you looking for?
That's the thing. I don't know.
After working for 20 years, the novel says 20, official lore says 18. Cleaning up Spanish Harlem and dismantling the Mendoza syndicate who had Harlem under control, she now feels the need to get a job to repay Carlos, in forms other than having freed the family from the Mendozas.
The Arroyos are wonderful people, and Carlos would never ask me to pay rent, but, now that Sophie's going to fancy college, I feel like I need to contribute.
Carlos is the father within the Arroyos family, the one Ivy had been adopted into. The Arroyos consist of 4 members, excluding Ivy. There's Carlos, the father, Maria, the mother, Manny, their son, and Sofia, their daughter. For a little extra context here, Ivy's former life was as an inanimate gargoyle, until she was summoned to life to protect the Arroyos from the Mendoza syndicate. From there, she vowed to protect her new family and began a vigilante mission to dismantle the syndicate. From this point in the novel, you get 3 options. Take a job as a waitress, take a job as a process server, or go home and think about your options. As a waitress, Ivy comes to find she's not quite suited for the work.
You look like someone who could use a smiley face on his French toast. You look, unfun.
Making mistakes and even getting fired from her job.
I tossed a jerk through glass. I'm getting fired, aren't I?
Oh, yeah.
This route guides you to end up being a bodyguard for a singer named Cadence, who even has her own song within the visual novel. Cadence herself is actually an unreleased hero in Deadlock, an Ixian woman and the lead singer of the jazz band Cadence and the Requiem Boys. Choosing the path of a process server guides you to the option of serving warrants to Lash or Wraith.
First is a mobster, goes by Wraith.
Well, who's the other option?
Jacob Lash,
Who's that?
an asshole.
Got it.
Both, of course, being well-known troublemakers in Deadlock. Lash with his eccentric ego, and Wraith known for running her shady underground poker games. These interactions lead to their own unique moments, Following Lash's path, Ivy ends up helping him fight off a couple of goons that he inevitably drags her into. The two share some dialogue and show a very fun dynamic.
Excuse me, Mr. Lash?
Sorry, Sweet Wings. Don't sign autographs when I'm working. The Lash doesn't have to explain his craft to you.
What craft? You're sitting on an I-beam.
Nah, babe. I am ruminating on an I-beam.
Mr. Lash, it's none of my business, but there were some people down there waiting for you. They didn't look particularly kind.
Yeah, that's why I'm up here.
But if you want, I can scare them off. You're gonna fight them all yourself?
Yes.
There's like a lot of them.
Odds are for people who are good at math. Now, if you excuse me, the Lash has to get to work.
It's playful, but also shows Ivy's protective side coming through again. If you follow Wraith's plotline, you discover that Sofia Arroyo, Ivy's adoptive sister, is working for Wraith.
What are you doing here? Do you know how much trouble you'll be in if Carlos got you playing in an illegal poker game?
She's not playing, she's just helping with my books.
Oh my god, that's worse!
I am a female entrepreneur in a male-dominated industry. As far as role models go, I'm basically Florence Nightingale with a gun.
Naturally, this raises Ivy's concern for her safety and sets up tension in a really interesting way. If you choose to go home and think about your options, you go home to a family meeting. Seemingly through context, Carlos called the meeting to announce his political run. Ivy chooses to canvass for Carlos.
Excuse me, ma'am. Would you be interested in learning why Carlos Arroyo should be New York's next mayor?
Heading to the streets to promote voters to choose him for the next mayor. She ends up having an interaction with someone seemingly about the patrons, the gods within Deadlock lore, how they can grant wishes at a price. By Ivy's response, it seems like they offered her the chance to participate in a ritual and encouraged her upon victory to wish for Carlos's political win, to which she responds,
That's cheating! And Carlos wouldn't want to win that way.
The routes, as I said, are unfinished and are left on these cliffhangers, yet they give us an insight into Ivy's personality, her drive, and the way she interacts with other heroes. She's a protector, and it gets highlighted as she interacts with Cadence as her bodyguard, protecting Sophia, and fighting alongside Lash. Her care for others is apparent and driven home with these interactions, and the way she wants to show her appreciation to the Arroyo's family by getting a job shows that care and drive. As a side note, the fact that there is an original song produced into this novel shows the serious effort Valve had put into this format.
The candles are lit, they walk in through the door, clad in silken robes, the lamp tied on the floor. It bleats and it screams, cries that you will ignore. The pursuit of power has far worse in store.
If you want to listen to Ivy's novel for yourself, enter this into the console.
Whew. I like you, Sweet Wings.
Lady Jeanne Geist is the only one of the visual novels that actually has visuals. The novel begins with her interacting with a doctor, who we come to find is her grandson, Johann, who is there to help fix her ward against Oathkeeper, the spirit residing in her arm. In her past, Geist summoned Oathkeeper, out of desperation to maintain her youth, a bargain that keeps her looking young but demands lives in return. The spirit is bound by a ward, but within this novel, that ward is beginning to fail. Geist fears what will happen when Oathkeeper claims its freedom after she has managed to contain it for so long. From here, the novel splinters into many possible routes, some involving characters we know from the roster, and others tied deeply into Deadlock's wider lore. Some of these potential routes include strengthening the ward, have McGinnis create a better ward to keep Oathkeeper bound, pass the burden, attempt to pawn Oathkeeper off to someone else, Johann, her grandson.
You're not foisting Oathkeeper on me. End of story.
Miss Shelley, the sick widow and creator of Bebop.
So, no, you're not offering me a miracle. You're offering me a curse.
You're going to die.
I am, but at least I'm not gonna live by becoming a killer. You know what you're doing is wrong. If you didn't feel that way, you wouldn't be trying to pawn off the responsibility.
Or Mr. Maximilian Fairfax, Pocket's father, a shady CEO tied to Pocket's attempted assassination.
Oathkeeper is in safe hands. So, Oathkeeper, are you ready to change the world?
Mr. Fairfax, I thought you'd never ask.
The patron deals. summon the patrons to either banish Oathkeeper at the cost of Geist's life, release it to a new host, or even bind it to Abram's cursed tome, since we come to find the tome and Oathkeeper are linked. Endings of Sacrifice. Sacrifice Johann, yes, her grandson, to continue the cycle, or die with Oathkeeper to end it once and for all. The Jezebel's Deal. Strike a bargain with Hank, owner of Jezebel's, a church-turned-bar soon to shut down, and pawn Oathkeeper off to him. With the vast amount of routes, it's interesting to see which direction to choose. Will Geist own up to her mistakes and end the cycle completely? Maybe hand off Oathkeeper to someone else, freeing her of the responsibility, but placing the burden on someone else's shoulders? Or will she continue the ruthless cycle? Geist's obsession with youth runs deep. Once she was high society's darling, but as time passed and her beauty faded, she was forgotten, left in a nursing home with nothing but stories of her glorious past. In the visual novel, she even says growing old is a death sentence.
And it is slow and painful. You don't understand what it's like to have your body grow frail and decrepit, for your mind to shrivel, to have others stare at you with nothing but pity.
That desperation led her to summon Oathkeeper in the first place. And here we see her still struggling with the consequences of that choice. Within these chapters, we also get to experience other characters we already know. Abrams, our detective.
The guest room is down the hall.
Your bathroom is bigger than my apartment.
Dynamo, who aids in finding an intelligent mind to help Geist fix her ward problem.
The longer we chit-chat, the more likely your course is the only one at Columbia with a body count.
Oh, right then. How can I help?
McGinnis as our repair woman.
You were just incredibly annoying the last time we met.
I probably was. I was also 15. What's your excuse for being an asshole?
Bebop in the role of Miss Shelley's caretaker.
I brought some chocolate biscuits for you and your guest, miss. You step away from her right now.
And Infernus bartending at Jezebel's. The integration of these other heroes and the patrons also brings personality to them, showing how all of these heroes coexist and how their stories bind them together. This novel features a wide amount of voice acting and art, which unfortunately has now been removed from the game. However, you can still see the layout and the routes you could take. You can use this console command to see the layout and the first chapter. Regardless, this novel has been archived on YouTube, and even Deadlock made a playlist containing all the novels and chapters in order. Links will be down below. I love seeing the preservation of this novel, and the fact it was pulled makes me eager to see its potential. It might return being more worked on than before. The artwork for the novel definitely has its own feel to it. It's very reminiscent of that moody and dark story it has to tell. The different look of these heroes too is very apparent, once again showing that this is very much a work in progress, an unfinished project. But when it is finished, what a project it will be.
That's the problem with making deals with the devil. He always comes to collect.
Once again, we are back to very unfinished territory, now featuring Holliday. A sheriff originally from Macomb, Illinois, she has made her travels as she is set to meet with some friends who have potential leads towards someone she's looking for. She seeks the Troubadour, a traveling folk musician, known for committing many murders in central Illinois. In the past, Holliday was once able to corner them, but they turned into a murder of crows and flew away. Holliday kept track of her leads, and they eventually brought her to New York.
I hate New York.
So what's your plan?
I put a bullet in that son of a bitch.
That's the goal. What's your plan?
I'm meeting a friend tomorrow. Said they had some leads. I'll know more then.
Her visual novel begins with her arrival in New York. Here, you are given two options: meet with your cop friend or connect with your friend the reporter. If you choose to meet with Holliday's cop friend, Captain Murphy, their interaction gets intruded by someone from the OSIC, or the Occult Security and Investigation Commission, a government group within Deadlock lore which aims to keep the country safe from sinister forces. He offers for the OSIC to step in with their planned entrapment of the Troubadour.
You've done fine work, Captain, but I think your friend from Macomb would agree that you're out of your element.
He then asks Holliday either to work with them or to stay out of their way. Holliday agrees to help. If chosen to meet with Holliday's reporter friend, you meet Allie Kincaid. Allie discusses she has a source aware of who the troubadour will strike next.
Then why isn't he telling the cops?
He doesn't want to help the cops. He wants to help you.
Who have you been talking to?
I can't tell you.
God damn it, Allie. This is not the time for journalistic integrity.
She urges Holliday to meet with that source. As for the voice lines to the visual novel, that's as much as we get. We have the names and short descriptions that follow the paths of the novel, so we at least have an idea of what happens. Chapter 3A, Dream Walk. Holliday agrees to help the OSIC. Chapter 3D, Fateful Meeting. Holliday meets Allie's source. Chapter 4A, The February House. Holliday closes in on the troubadour. Chapter 5B, One Last Song. Holliday makes her choice. Based on some post-visual novel conversations, we can derive that Hayes helps Holliday through the OSIC path. Hayes fits here because of their involvement within the Sandman Division, the OSIC's Dream Invading Execution Squad. And Seven helps Holliday through the Allie Kincaid path, and Seven, being a criminal himself, might naturally know how to track another criminal. Even though her novel is cut shorter than the others, we still get a glimpse into her drive and how determined she is to find the troubadour, seeking revenge for those fallen in and around her hometown. Through one voice line, it's implied her sister may have been killed by the troubadour, though it's never outright stated.
My sister told me that when I get mad, I should take a deep breath and count to 4. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does.
My sister's dead.
Which potentially makes her pursuit feel even more personal. I did enjoy the slight banter and the voice acting within the voice lines.
Hey, I'm here to speak with Captain Murphy.
At 3 in the morning?
Yeah, it's only 1 my time. Look, just call him and tell him Holliday's here.
He's married.
It's work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, lady, can you just call him?
I truly adore Holliday's character, and I look forward to finding out more about her. Even unfinished, Holliday's novel paints her as the small-town investigator, her story balancing street-level vengeance with a world far greater than her hometown. If you want to check out Holliday's voice line novel, enter this into the console.
I need to rest. Maybe if I'm lucky, I won't dream. I can't waste any more time.
Even though incomplete, these novels show how Deadlock is experimenting with character-driven storytelling that goes beyond just gameplay. Each of the 3 heroes we've looked at embodies something different. Ivy as the protector tied to her community, Geist as vanity tangled with sacrifice, and Holliday as vengeance driven by justice. Together, they highlight even just a portion of the range of stories Deadlock wants to tell. I see so much potential here. The direction these novels were headed shows a grand way to portray these heroes. There are so many unique stories that can be told, but we'll just have to wait and see who actually ends up getting a novel. Maybe all the heroes will get one? Or maybe they just make a big one where they integrate multiple different heroes just like they did for Geist. If Deadlock continues down this path, we could be looking at a unique way to tell a story. Definitely not the first to do it, sure, but still one just as insightful. I personally can't wait to see how these novels evolve and how many more might come if Valve actually sticks with this route. Please do! I'm a sucker for compelling storytelling, great visuals, and amazing voice acting. What can I say? Are there any visual novels you'd love to see for a specific hero? What do you think of this medium for storytelling? Thanks again to all of the great resources I used to put this video together. I'll have them linked down below. Thank you all for watching my deep dive on these visual novels, and I can't wait to see what's to come.